Good day everyone, so in this video we'll look at a C0 Yai and we'll do a bit of a VOD review. So I've prepared a special video. It's not going to be the footage you see in the background, but just a bit of a video to show you how you can use Yai in what's arguably one of the more difficult parallel burst floors, verse 12.2, and how positioning and spacing with her and controlling the flow of fight can get you some very good results at a C0 level. So this is one of the things we've often done on the channel. We've looked at Yai from a C0 perspective ever since she came out, and honestly she's just such a good character. Now before we get into a VOD review, I just want to mention something, and I'll be quite blunt about it. I don't support the English VA for Tinari. I think he should be condemned for his actions and so on, but I do want to emphasize that the character Tinari and the voice actor, in particular the English voice actor, are not the same. They are two separate people. So hopefully, if you are offended by the fact that I'm using Tinari here, you're welcome to click off the video, but do keep in mind that from my perspective, they are two very separate entities. And in any case, I've always played in Japanese, and that's the kind of voice actor that I like for Tinari. So that's my perspective on it. Right, so let's get into the VOD review, and what I'm going to do is sort of break this down step by step. Now, this is not the same footage that you just saw. This is a separate piece of footage that I specifically prepared to sort of give you ideas or just some suggestions on how you could use Yai Miko. So right off the bat, I'm going to do something which is very tricky to always get right consistently, but it's a bit of a very advanced or official technique. So effectively, you almost instantaneously animation cancel and dash, and that allows us to sort of spawn right here where the enemies are. Don't worry too much about it, but it is kind of a little fun thing if you can pull it off. So immediately I sort of use Yai, set up the totems, and I position where the enemies are. I use Tinari here, and effectively now we're going to activate the aggravate. There's still a bit of electro on the enemy, so we're going to now swirl, shred their resistance. Here is Sucrose using her elemental burst. This will then hopefully be infused with electro and give Yai Miko an additional 20% electro damage bonus, and that means that Yai, together with the Dendro and the electro resistance shred, can hit really hard here in the background. Obviously Yai has no ICD on her elemental burst. That means you can get 4 aggravate shots off, so that's like very good, and the AoE of it is kind of very large. So even though these enemies are slightly spread out, you can see here we did quite a ton of damage to them. And whilst all of this is happening, you can see here what I did with Yai is the moment her elemental burst sort of ended, I immediately sort of started cancelling, dash cancelling, and then of course I'm doing her little animations, setting her up. Here is Tinari, just going to sort of hit the enemy with the little aggravate. I'm hitting him very hard. You can see I'm trying to stabilize my aim, and of course that is the first wave. Typically it takes about 14-16 seconds for you to clear with them. Obviously you can do it faster if you've got different teams and so on, but I found this to be relatively consistent. Right, so here is the big thing. So we're just going to quickly refresh Oz, and now you'll see I kind of made a bit of a slight misplay there, but what you want to do here is use Tinari's E skill, and what this will do is it will taunt this enemy, the little flying falcon, and that means when he goes up like that, he's going to land down exactly where he came up. So you don't need to dodge him, you just need to stay away from him. But you'll see now on the ground, you can see there's a little purple circle, that is from the scorpion, and you can immediately iframe it, all the while Yai Miko's totems are beautifully positioned here in the middle of the screen. So this is how we're using the character's abilities to manage where the enemy AI is. It's kind of fun and neat. If you play this, if you look at my previous clip and so on, you'd see that the enemies were more tightly grouped, and ideally that's what you want to do, but I just wanted to sort of get them a bit more spread out for this video. So here you can see I'm just sort of trying to get Sucrose ready for her next elemental burst so that we can infuse Yai with electro and then obviously hit the enemies hard. But notice at what I'm doing, I've immediately gone and change the battlefield by spacing outwards from the two enemies, and they're going to come in towards me. You can see here, even if the scorpion tried to hit us, we were very well poised to sort of like dodge him, which is kind of very cool. And there we go, there's going to be Sucrose at Tinari for a little spread. Hopefully we can get an infusion. I see there's an electro infusion, and I go immediately into Yai. You can alt and then press the key button. It's like a bit of a shortcut, so you don't need to swap and then press Q. You can alt and let's say press 2, and you can immediately swap into a character's elemental burst, and immediately look at that, I space out because the other enemy can obviously hit me as well. So this is how we control the battlefield, how we move in and out, and look at that, we've avoided the attack and we danced all around them, and look at that, we can greet both of these enemies right in front of them. Now sometimes these enemies can give you that little, what do you call it, electro or pyro little crystal thing that you need to break. So that's a good thing for using sucrose, because if it is there, you can quickly reposition to it. In this case, you can see it due to ping and all these sorts of things. Just at the edge of it, I just got slightly unlucky and got hit by sucrose, poor official. But in any case, it's not the end of the world. When it quickly taunts the enemies whilst there is a helicopter or something flying overhead, you can see, you can hear in the background. And look at that, we've got one enemy taunted. We can now hit him, try and finish him off. It's always good to finish off the one with lower health. I know some people might say you might want to target the other one. If you try and do that, you could actually end up in a situation where both of them can knock you out easily. In any case, as you can see here, I'm just sort of moving around. I see that this little bird here is now going to use its little flying thing, and because he is taunted, he's going to now attack in a direction which is away from us. So once again, using Tinari's skills here to manage the enemy. But I can see now that it's almost time once again to sort of reset Miko's totems, and that's exactly what I do. So if you've noticed how I use my cooldowns, I always try and reset before Yai's sort of next elemental burst. But what I'm now doing with Yai is I'm quickly and rapidly putting up my totems, and I'm positioning to where the enemy's crystal is. So if this enemy had less health on him, or more health on him, sorry, we would have been able to sort of take care of his crystal, but of course Miko's totems kind of like take care of it. So this is so cool. And there you can see that enemy is gone. We're now going to hit the little scorpion here, and look at that, he's going to try and hit at us. We just quickly iframe, and this is the benefit of having like a wide position, because you can see him coming, and it's very easy then for you to iframe. So this is what you do with Miko. You set up your totems where the battlefield's more or less is happening, and then you sort of position yourself slightly outside of the enemy's range, and this gives you then more than enough time to reflective, or to use your reflexes to kind of avoid the enemy's damage. So here we go, we now taunt him, so now we keep him in place, and this is like the key thing. You can rapidly position with Fischl and Miko, and you can then obviously control what the enemy does by of course using Tinari and so on. So yeah, that's what I did. I actually misclicked here. I wanted to go to Yai, so there we go. Avoid little tail slap. I thought this was quite a nice little one. I did not actually intend this, but hey, that's sort of what I wanted to do earlier. And look at that, we're just sort of zipping around the little enemy here, setting up the kill box, and you can see, ooh, look at that, there is a little crystal. Sucrose is very nice. She's got a wide AoE. We can break that very quickly, and now the enemy is paralyzed, and we can take care of him so easily. Right, so that is how you more or less play here with Miko. You're using her actively to move around the battlefield. You can see here it's just so much fun, and by using the combination of her and all the other characters, you can easily clear a chamber like this without even really taking any sort of real damage. The only damage we took was from Fischl, and that you could probably even chalk down to a bit of high ping, where we were just slightly at the edge of where the enemy hit us. But yeah, guys, that's it. That has been it for this little VOD review. Hopefully there's something you've learned about it, and in particular, the idea that you EEQ immediately with Yai is something you shouldn't do. You should always layer your buffs, and then you can hit hard with Yai, and that's also much better for your cooldown management within the rest of the team. So yeah, that's what I wanted to show and prepare. Thank you so much for watching. Cheers.